What the hell was that? Kansas 41, West Virginia 10. We're going to talk more about it this morning on Between Eers. Good Sunday morning, everyone. Schuyler Callihan here with another episode of Between the Eers. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. We have episodes every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Walk Thru GameDay Show every Thursday, previewing that week's matchup. And, of course, the Mountaineer Postgame directly following the action. And, yeah, last night was it was horrific in every way imaginable. Offensively, special teams-wise. I hate to even bring up defense because, I mean, at this point, they're just doing everything they can to hold the team into the game as long as they possibly can. But even defensively, they missed a bunch of tackles, and that's kind of become a bit of a theme here the last three games. I don't really count the Robert Morris game, but you look at these three meaningful games, missed tackles have been a bit of an issue. But again, we're not going to put any blame on the defense. We're going to keep all of our attention and focus on the offense here today. We could even talk special teams, but there's a couple of quick fixes I think for that, and I don't know if it's easy fixes because I don't know if they have the capable bodies to do it. But I mean, kick the ball through the end zone. That's it. I mean, Rich Rod has talked about it a number of times that his ideal situation is the ball just goes through the end zone, and Ethan Head had a very high touchback percentage when he was at Tulane. So what's going on? I mean, feels like 3 years in a row, two different coaching staffs where they continue to say, kick the ball through the end zone. That's the plan, and the ball's not going through the end zone. Guys not staying in their lanes, I'm assuming. I haven't went back and watched the tape just yet, but I'm assuming that's a problem. Missed tackles, again, are a problem. So there are some things there that need to be cleaned up, and I think those are much more fixable problems or issues than what's going on the offensive side. Because oh boy, I mean, where do we start? I mean, there's so many things that need to be fixed. We could probably be here for 3-4 hours talking about every single one of them. Let's start with the offensive line because in my opinion, I think it's the reason they can't do half of what they want to do. Chemo and Tykeist, Crawford, Makane'ole and Crawford, the right guard, right tackle, the right side of that offensive line has just really, really underperformed. And I don't know what it will take to rotate Josh Isosa and Xavier Bosley or Mikael Clay and somebody else into the game. But 4 games in, I don't know that repping it out is going to be the solution. I just don't. There are things that have happened with those two in particular in these 4 games, or really in these 3 games, I should say, that are extremely alarming, concerning. I mean, things that just make you put your hands on your head thinking, what the hell? I mean, there were 2 or 3 plays in a row last night where those two in particular, I don't even remember what part of the game it was. I will try and go back and find it. But there are 2 or 3 plays in a row where those two, one of them was guilty of either completely whiffing on their assignment or their guy. I'm not going to pretend to know their assignments, but they completely whiffed on their block, or guy just ran right by him. Just ran right by him. You know, Chemo giving up the sack to Trey Lathan. I mean, he didn't even touch the guy. Did not even touch the guy. And it happens way too much for those two guys in particular to continue to be the guy every single week, every single snap. At least until the game got out of hand, of course, and you saw some new bodies. But as an offensive line, I get it takes time, especially when you have 5 new starters and you're trying to learn this scheme. It's a zone scheme, and zone scheme's not easy. But it's also not that complicated too. It's just understanding the guy next to you and what he's going to do. But through 4 games, it doesn't look like they're picking up on each other. And my take on it is like, look, if you're going to struggle and you know you're going to struggle, why not struggle with guys who have eligibility left? And I also get that you don't want to put guys into the game that maybe haven't earned that opportunity, or you haven't, or they haven't earned your trust. But at some point, you've got to try something else. Some point, you've got to, because this ain't working. Now, is it possible that just one of those needs flipped and all of a sudden it makes the situation better? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe a new right tackle helps Chemo or a new right guard helps Tyke East. That could be possible, but I still see way too many things from those two in particular that make me a little weary about them on the field at all. And these are guys that are seniors, veterans, making these mistakes constantly. And I get they didn't play a bunch of football, at their previous stops. I mean, you look at Chemo, he played offensive line the first 3 or 4 years. He was LSU. Wasn't working out, wasn't sniffing the field, so he flips to defense. Barely even played there on defense last year. Now he comes to West Virginia, flips to the other side, back to O-line, and the struggles are showing. There's a reason why, right? Tykees Crawford. I mean, I don't want to say I completely missed on him because I thought he would be a decent player. I never thought he'd be this all Big 12 performer, but I thought he could be a decent starter. So far, it has not come anywhere near close to that. And I don't know if it's a mental thing, if it's technique, a little bit of both. I've seen a little bit of both, but I don't know which one is the biggest problem for him. So, what does that tell you about Josh Isosa? What does it tell you about Xavier Bosley? Now, Xavier, maybe not so much because he's been injured. He was on the injury report up until game time, and the final injury report came out, and he wasn't on it. So, assuming he was good, but he may have even gotten into the game. I haven't looked at the snap counts yet. And in the second half, I'll be honest. I mean, I was watching the game, but I wasn't as intently on it. I was getting some articles ready. But if there is no confidence in those guys, I mean, that's trouble. And speaking of trouble, go to the running back situation. Ty Edwards doesn't play. Now, doesn't seem like this is going to be a long term issue, at least as of right now, or from what I've heard. But there's a chance he plays next week against Utah. But if Ty does not play, what do you do? Clay Ash is not the answer. I know he works hard, he busts his tail, he does all the little things right in practice, and he's earned those opportunities, but he should not be carrying the football that much for you. I'm sorry. He just can't. There's no extra gear for him. And when you have a pocket passing quarterback, we'll get into that here in a second, but when you have a stationary quarterback and a running back that doesn't necessarily have that next gear, the defense doesn't have anything to be concerned about. So that's why you're seeing the constant 3-and-outs. There's just no burst in that backfield from either the quarterback or the running back position. And the same thing applies with the backup running back options, Sincere Bowers and Tyler Jacklich, who got in the game, Dior Hubbard. What about those guys is keeping them from seeing the field? Because if they're that far behind or haven't earned that much of trust yet, that Clay Hash is the guy that's getting 7-8 carries a game, I mean, you're in trouble. You're in big, big trouble. So, what similar situation, like I said, with the offensive line guys. At some point, you just got to try. At some point, you just have to roll those guys out there. We saw Sincere a little bit. We saw Jacklich at the end of the game when things got out of hand. Saw some nice things from him, but can they do that in the first quarter of a game? when there's pressure. I don't know. I don't know. Quarterback. Going all the way back to the offensive line discussion. If you continue to have problems up front, it's just not going to work for Nico. And I hate it for him because he's a great kid, a great leader. He's everything you envision in a Mountaineer quarterback. He's tough, he's gritty, hard nosed, hard edge, whatever you want to say about him. He's that definition. But he, in particular, unlike the others in that room, need certain things to happen for him to be successful. He needs protection. Doesn't need to be elite. Like I said on the Walk Thru GameDay Show on Thursday, he just needs average protection. Just average. He doesn't need 5, 6 seconds to throw the ball. But he needs at least a couple or 3 seconds to throw the football. Make his decision. He can't be met with pressure in his face. Have guys in his lap by the time he gets through his first read. That's an impossible task, especially for a pocket passing quarterback. So if you don't get average pass protection, well, you're going to continue to see what you've seen these last 4 games if he continues to be a quarterback. Because once something gets covered up, the play is dead. It's over with. You can't do anything about it. The other guys in that room can make something out of a busted play because they can run away from it or they can extend the play. When they see pressure coming, they can bail on staying in the pocket and outrun a defender to the perimeter. Nico cannot do that. He is a willing runner. Yes. He is a physical runner. Yes. He can plow through defenders. Yes. He can't run away from the pocket with guys chasing him down. Can't do it. Every quarterback has their strengths. Every quarterback has their weaknesses. So this is not me taking shots at Nico Marchio. Jalen Henderson has his issues. Every quarterback on that roster has something that they either struggle in or need to clean up. Nico's is unfortunately just something that he can't control. He can't get, Jalen Henderson's speed within the next 4 or 5 days. He can't do whatever needs to happen up front on the offensive line. And some of that also goes back to the play calling. There's some interesting play calls in that game yesterday that just had me really scratching my head. And as I mentioned on the post-game show last night, I'm not one that usually gets into attacking the play calling because it's the easiest thing for anybody to do. Say, oh, why'd you do this? Why'd you run the ball here? Why do you keep running up the middle? All these ridiculous criticisms of play calling, which more often than not are not really justified. Last night there were some that just I couldn't help but bring it up. I mean, I think first and foremost the 4th down call when you have pretty much, I'll have to go back and watch it, but I'm pretty sure you had at least 3, maybe 4 receivers running downfield routes on 4th and 2. 4th and 2. I mean, you're better off just putting in the heavy package and just ramming it up the middle with those 9 offensive linemen and getting those 2 yards than you are to throw the ball downfield with that leaky pass protection that you have and throwing the ball 20, 25 yards downfield. It just doesn't make sense. I like getting Nico on the move. A lot of people don't. They say, why you keep rolling him out there because he can't out. It moves the picture. It springs guys open. There were some plays yesterday that he made that happened because he was on the move when he threw it. I like that. The problem is when it gets covered up and there is nothing there. Again, play over. Move on to 2nd down or 3rd down or whatever it is. If it's Jalen Henderson and it's covered up, he can make something happen. Go back to the one play that he made. It was a play. I don't know if it was the exact same play, but it looked very similar to ones that they ran with Nico. Jalen rolls to his left, has an RPO on it, obviously, and has a guy at the sticks for the first down, around the sticks for the first down, thought about running it, and then he kind of took a step back behind the line of scrimmage, threw it, got an 8 or 9 yard completion. They're right up against the chains. I mean, they had to honor him running the football. They don't have to do that with Nico. So that's where I'm at with the quarterback thing. If you get average pass protection, Nico can be successful in this offense. He can get you into football games or keep you into football games, win you some football games like we saw last week. Just go back and watch the last 2 drives of the backyard brawl. The last 2 drives, that offensive line did not play elite, but they gave him enough time. And that's all he needs. He doesn't need the best offensive line in the Big 12 to be successful. He doesn't. But he needs better than the worst pass protection in the Big 12 or damn near bottom. And if that's not going to happen, you have to get Jalen Henderson involved. It's just what it is. You have to get Scotty Fox involved or Khalil Wilkins involved or Max Brown involved. One of those guys has to play more. So I don't know where they go from here. I really don't, because you've got a very brutal schedule. You have Utah, BYU, UCF after the bye, TCU. I mean, we're not even getting into the deeper part of the year where you got to play Arizona State and Texas Tech. So right now you're looking, 4 games in, that race to 6 is not looking so hot. And I think the race to 6 on the L side of the column might get there before the wins do. And that's unless something changes. Now, I say all of that, and I have all that criticism to say this. If Ty Edwards plays next week against Utah and he's healthy, that can help you tremendously. And it allows Nico to do some more things. It allows the offensive line to have some things covered up because Ty can just plow right through some of those guys that pop through. But without him, it's uphill. It's going to be very uphill. And as I mentioned in my article this morning, if you haven't checked it out, please go do so on our website, West Virginia on SI. My Sunday morning thoughts. The very end, basically what I said is, there's a good chance that this thing gets worse before it gets better. It's a cliche saying in these situations, but there's no fixes that I see happening in the next 4 to 5 days. Ty Edwards getting back, sure, yeah, that helps. But that doesn't fix the offensive line issues. It doesn't fix the immobility of the quarterbacks. Doesn't fix the tackling issues on defense. Doesn't fix the coverage issues on special teams. Doesn't fix the lack of, or it doesn't fix the speed situation at running back either. Ty's a powerful back. So there's a lot that needs to be fixed, and the problem is you have a lot of transfers on this roster, a lot of seniors on this roster. Next year's not going to be so hot either unless you have a very strong offseason development. You get a dozen or so transfers that can come in and make an impact right away, and you have a couple of freshmen in that freshman class that pop. If not, next year is going to be a bit of a struggle too. You'd hope it wouldn't be as big of one. But right now, from what we've seen from the underclassmen, there's not a whole lot to be excited about offensively. So I hate to say it, folks, but buckle up. It's going to be potentially a long year, potentially a long couple of years. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it as this. It is year one. There are over 80 new players on this roster. You're seeing similar things at North Carolina. And I don't know that you should feel good about that because it's happening there with Bill Belichick as well. But it's not an Oklahoma State situation where you're in year 20 or whatever it is with your head coach and all of a sudden the program just fell off and doesn't look like they have any chance of reviving anytime soon. or, I know you'd like to be in the spot that Clemson's in, having all the success that they've had over the years. But again, it's a coach that's very experienced. He's been there a long time, and they're going through it right now. There's a lot of teams out there that are going through it right now. I mean, you even go to Pitt last week. Pat Narduzzi's in year 11, folks. He's in year 11. And last week, just last week, he lost to this West Virginia team that has over 80 players. He blew a double-digit lead. That's Pitt's head coach in year 11. This is year 1. This is game 4. So it's only going to get better from here. It's just a matter of when that happens. Is it going to take a step back and get worse before it gets better? That's possible. It's very possible. But it shouldn't be the standard. It's not going to be the standard. It's not going to be this 5-year-long thing where West Virginia just can't get out of its own way. They will find success. It's just a matter of when. And that when might be a little bit further down the line than we all anticipated, even in this era of the transfer portal where you can go and get easy fixes. I mean, we've seen that so far this year. Offensively, they didn't really hit a lot of home runs in the portal on the offensive side of the ball, at least not yet. Still a lot of football to be played, but not yet. So, all right, folks, that's going to do it for me here today. End of rant. I will continue talking about this game and the future game against Utah on the website side of things. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. And we will be back on Tuesday with a new episode of BTE. And until then, take care. Read some of our stuff that we've got going up on the site. And I'll chat back and forth with you guys in the comments. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll be back here on Tuesday. Take care.